Hello, and welcome to the Tuning In podcast. I'm Dana Evans, your inner voice and emotional support coach. In this podcast, we explore the deep wisdom that lives in our bodies, emotions, and inner voice. Together, we'll shed the layers that no longer serve us, creating space to tap into the flow of life and experience true ease. So, are you ready to join me? Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Tuning In podcast. This is intended to be a short little reset episode, a perspective episode, an episode designed to let you see yourself in a different way. And we're going to do that by getting really simple. I was contemplating being a human yesterday. I was sitting around and making a list of all of the things that were on my mind. And if you've ever done one of these brain dumps, they can get pretty overwhelming pretty quickly. But as I sat down, I mapped out all of the projects I have in mind, both personally, for the business, for my house, for just like self-development and that type of thing. I mapped them all down. I wrote down all of the questions that are in my head. And I also ended up writing down just like things that I want to think about, things that I want to handle, things that need to be taken care of, things that I would like to do. And among that list were really small things like, oh my gosh, I need to cut my toenails. I need to cut and file my fingernails because in order to do my face sculpting routine that I do many, many times a week, you can't have long fingernails because you like cut yourself. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to cut. And then if I cut my fingernails, then I have to file them. I was also thinking, oh my gosh, I need to do some tidying in my closet. I went through all of the clothes in my closet just the other day. This was like a super inspired action that my inner voice directed me toward. And now I need to go through the things that I'm getting rid of and fold them and prep them. I found a place to donate them, so I have to pack them in my car and take them to a local community closet here in Santa Fe. Okay. And that's just like a couple tending to personal items things. That was not even like this yard project that we're embarking on and calling the landscaper and planning where we're going to put trees. And, oh, wait. Now that I'm out in the yard, my bird feeder is empty. Oh, right. The bird feeder. Now that we're going to have things in our yard and it's summer is coming, I want to do a bird bath. I need to find a bird bath. Where should I get a bird bath? Should I get it at Home Depot? I didn't like the ones at the bird store. It seems like a pain in the butt to ship one. It seems like something I should buy locally. Oh, Home Depot. I want to hang my punching bag because I really want to get back into using the punching bag. What's the best way to hang a punching bag? I wonder if I should go to Home Depot and get that. And like, this is the brain, right? This is the brain. Oh, speaking of Home Depot and plants in the outside yard, what about my poor inside plants? When was the last time I watered them? It's been a while. I probably need to repot them. What does it look like to repot my plants, right? Like, can you resonate with this? Does anyone resonate with this? Like, it's not only the laundry list of things that you know you need to do, but it's also the rabbit holes of every one of those things, right? It's like the idea of, okay, I'm going to grocery shop. In order to grocery shop, I need to make a meal plan. In order to make a meal plan, I need to decide what meals I want to eat. In order to decide what meals I want to eat, I need to know what food I have already. In order to see the food I want to have, I should probably clean out the fridge. So let me clean out the fridge so that I know what food I have. I can get rid of the food I don't, and I have space for the food that needs to come. Oh, while I'm cleaning out the fridge and the freezer, I realize I'm low on meat. I should order a meat order from my meat supplier. La-di-da, right? It's like, it's never just the thing. If it was just like, I need to grocery shop, well, go to the grocery store and you can grocery shop. And maybe some of you can do that. And I love that for you. But think of all the things in your life that are weighing on you. And maybe they're not weighing on you, but they're present in your mind. Or if you were like me, you put them on paper. yeah, that kind of helps, but also suddenly you're looking at this massive download of things. And then recognize that like it's not always so easy to just do the one thing. And I think that's where we can get really hard on ourselves. We're like, why can't I just do this thing? Right? Like, why can't I just get my groceries? Or why can't I just clean out my closet? Or why can't I just mail this thing? And more likely than not, there is a whole ripple of other thoughts and actions that are either required or are brought up by the one thing you want to do. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's an ADD thing. I don't know if I have ADD, but it sounds kind of like a little brain chaos. And also, I think it's real. And I think there's a lot here where we can get really hard on ourselves for not doing the thing without really recognizing all the things that we have to do and all the things we want to do and all the things we could do and all the things that would be good to have done. And just take a moment. Like maybe you want to pause this and do your own brain dump. And I can't ever do my brain dump like all at once. Like I usually have to sit down and like I have to take a piece of paper and I start the brain dump. I put it into categories. And then over the course of a few hours or even a day is when I'm able to really capture everything, because you first write things down and not everything shows up. And then you're like on a walk, you're like, oh, I wanted to make that real. Or you're like, oh crap, I need to call that person back. But before I can call that person back, I have to make this decision. In order to make this decision, I need to talk to this person. In order to talk to this person, I have to make an appointment with them, or wait until the end of the day, right? So those things kind of start to show up as the day goes on. But giving yourself a moment to just acknowledge all of the things that may be in your head. And I was just thinking, like, as I was doing that and then thinking about the simple fact that I need to cut my nails. And then I flossed last night and I was so proud of myself. And I'm like, oh, I also want to make more mouthwash. I make my own mouthwash. I've wanted to make more of it for like months now. But it's like, I can't find the recipe and I have to go through my Instagram save to like search for the recipe, right? And there's just enough barrier to not do the thing. I'm afraid that I'm oversharing and you guys are getting a look inside of my head and you're like, oh, that's kind of crazy in there. But for real, after I flossed and I had done my brain dump and I was just thinking about it, I'm like, man, you know what? It is pretty freaking amazing that we are even functioning here as humans. Like, we have so much to do just to like function, like eating, okay, drinking water. And then it's like, what kind of water are you drinking? Are you using a water wand to make the water alive? Are you adding mineral drops to your water? Do you have a water filter? Like, I can go down this rabbit hole with literally anything. Like the food, like what kind of food are you eating? What do you care about when it comes to food? And how are you cooking the meals, right? Like, what do you know about cooking? Do you want to learn to cook? Do you love cooking? Does it feel like a burden to you? Like, okay, what about personal hygiene? Like, anything you want to do. Like, I'm like, oh man, I want to get my eyebrows waxed again. I want to get my eyebrows tinted again. Obviously, trimming my nails, trimming my toenails. Like, oh, my skin is a little dry from being at the beach and there's like a little peeling, so I need to exfoliate. I'm out of exfoliant. Should I use coffee grounds? So like, there's all the personal maintenance. And then there's our house maintenance. Like, even if you have a house cleaner, like there's still our daily maintenance, like doing laundry, putting your clothes away, folding your clothes at the end of the day so that they're not sitting on a pile of the floor. What about your kitchen counter? That's something I'm like constantly cleaning, is our kitchen counter. What about unloading the dishwasher every day? What about tidying your bathroom sink every day? Who's cleaning the toilets? When do the toilets need to be cleaned? Like, what about dust? Oh my gosh, I have these high windows. Who's dusting those? I'm sure not. Oh my gosh, you're out of a light bulbs. Like, you got to get new light bulbs. I'm going to go to Home Depot. Well, now we've circled back around. If we're going to go to Home Depot, we may as well, do this, and this. So I am just impressed with every single one of you that we are even freaking able to human, that we get up, that we're mostly functioning, that we are able to, like, even at the most basic level, take care of ourselves, feed ourselves, water ourselves, and then add on a partner if you have a partner, add on a house or wherever your living space is, add on a car that you have to maintain and take care of, add on, God forbid, a pet, double, God forbid, another baby human or 2 or 3 or 4, and plants, indoor plants, outdoor plants. My sister-in-law was saying she's ready to just get fake plants because it's so much work to maintain her indoor plants. And it's like, how do we do it? Yes, we were kind of taught how to live, like where it's modeled to us as we're growing up, but like there are so many things that we just handle every day. There are so many things that we are constantly tending to and constantly need tending to. Yesterday, I got a new shipment of olive oil from my favorite olive oil provider, Casadrinos. It's Greek olive oil. I got some of their vinegar and spices too. And it was one of those things where I went to put the olive oil away, and the cupboard that it's in also has like the salt and pepper and some other things. And it was so dirty. It's right next to the stove, and it had like salt and pepper and like oils and vinegars like spilled everywhere. So I took everything out and I cleaned that one freaking shelf. And I'm like, that's one shelf in an entire house. And it probably took me like 30 minutes. It wasn't the biggest of deals, but it was this thing that's been dirty for a while. And I finally, because I had new olive oil come, it like was enough incentive. I didn't want to put my new olive oil in a dirty cupboard. It was enough incentive to like clean it. But then that made me realize the drawer below it is messy when I did a quick tidy of that drawer. But then I had all these displaced jars from cleaning that shelf, and I needed to move them somewhere. So I had to move these other things. Like, I just don't think most things are particularly simple. And maybe it's a difference in like how your brain works too. I'm sure if John received the olive oil, he would just put it away. It wouldn't be a domino effect. But for me, like, I want a clean shelf, you know? I want things to look aesthetic and pretty when I open the cupboard. I want the rabbit hole domino effect things done. I don't mind doing them for the most part, but I just think it's really useful to take a moment and recognize all that we do. And think about yourself, like think about your own laundry list or your own laundry, right? Think about your own to-do list. Think about how you manage day to day. And I'm sure what you tend to think about is where you're falling short, where you're dropping the ball, where you're not taking care of things, where you're not taking care of yourself, where you're not taking care of your home, right? Where you're feeling like you're lacking. And just for a moment, can you counter that with the mountain of stuff that is not lacking? And maybe you dismiss those things because you do it every day. You brush your teeth twice a day, right? Maybe flossing's a normal thing for you. And that's not like, it's a huge accomplishment to me whenever I floss. Like, I've been flossing more, but I'm like, God, I feel like I'm like ruling the world because I floss. Like, I feel so successful when I floss. If I, make a reel for Instagram, I'm like, God, I'm like thriving in life, right? Because that's an area where I'm looking like where I'm slacking, my social media, the content for business, that type of thing. But just take a moment to like really look at the ratio of where you see yourself as falling short relative to all the things that you just naturally and intentionally do every day. And so I've talked about a lot of basic things, but then I know like I've started doing my face sculpting. Like that's a 30 to 45 plus minute commitment. And for a while I was doing it every single day. If you listen to my accidental Beachbody episode, I think that was 147 or 146. I talked about how I was like, I have to allow this to be my workout. I have to release the pressure that I have to do my face routine and a workout because I don't have the capacity to do my daily walk, to do my face routine, to do a workout, to bike with John. I like doing these somatic exercises before bed. Like, no, that's crazy. 5 hours a day. So looking at like, where are the things that you add in that you choose to do? Maybe it's a daily walk, right? Maybe it's a workout that you do twice a week. Maybe it's supporting a friend with a phone. Oh, don't even get me started on phone calls. We have to have phone calls with people that we care about to keep in touch. That's a whole nother thing. I have a running list of where I'm like, okay, it's been like a month since I've talked to this person. I'm probably due to call them. I don't feel like calling them. Maybe I can call them while I do something else. That's my new hack. I call people that I want to catch up with while like cleaning the house so that I get energy from them and I get connection. It's my new hack. Like staying connected with people, being a part of your community, doing whatever you're doing at work or at home or in your business. And then any extra bonus things, like my mom has started doing the Workout Witch. I'll put that link in the show notes. I'm so in love with the Workout Witch programs. I have the hip one and the neck and shoulders one. It's just to help release your cortisol, release stress, and really help reset your nervous system. And it's like a few minutes a day. I do them before bed. And my mom started doing that. I'm like, do you know how amazing it is that you're adding that into your already like full day and full routine? Like, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate what we're doing for ourselves. Let's celebrate what we're taking care of. Let's celebrate how you're just like handling life. Even when you probably feel like you're flailing and failing and not handling life, I bet you the list of what you are doing and handling still outweighs your perceived lack. So this whole episode is really just a rant on how much there is to do in any given freaking moment and how darn amazing it is that you're handling even a fraction of it and functioning and supporting yourself and having fun and like allowing you to enjoy your life. And I feel like this is like also inviting, I'm sensing this too, because I'm creating this emotions audio course. And I've really been sitting with this for a while and kind of struggling with what it looks like, because it's kind of a merge of the basics of Emotions Decoded, which I've run a couple times live. But I want to give you the basics of a program, a very deeply impactful program that's reacquainting you with emotions. And really, I think of it as like our emotional evolution or the evolution of emotions. It's seeing and sensing and experiencing emotions in a whole new way. And like shining the light on the darkness, on the fears, on the sticky parts within. And originally, I was going to do it as a video course and something I wanted people to be able to do evergreen. Because like when you need something, like when timing's right for you, I want you to be able to do it and not wait till I run something live, right? But it dawned on me, there's so much that we're doing, right? There's so much going on that I wanted to offer you something that didn't feel like it was taking a lot away from you in your day. And so I'm offering it as an audio, and it's literally going to be like a podcast. Like you're already listening to a podcast here. Like you can listen to this as a podcast training. And it's not just going to be me talking to you, but it's actually going to be like each lesson basically is paired with a embodiment practice that you actually get to use. So it's like if you're on your walk and you're listening to the training, the lesson, and then it's going to go into the embodiment of it, which you can do while you're on your walk, or you can pause and sit down on a bench and like sense into it. So it's something that my vision is for you to be able to integrate it into your life. I wasn't planning on sharing that. You can go to alignful.com, alignful.com/audio. It's an audio program, so /audio. If you want to jump in on that, it's on pre-sale right now. It's been on pre-sale for a little bit, but I'm finally like getting really clear and confident about creating this offer for you. And just know there's a lot of love and intention going into it. And it's taken me way longer to really like understand what I'm offering, but it's like an Emotions 101 course. But the reason I say that is because like I was literally thinking today, I'm like, how does anyone fit in programs or courses and continuing education and like personal growth? Like even reading books, like all of it can feel like a lot. And you can feel like there's this constant pressure to do more, to be better, to handle things. And this episode is really just a recognition and a celebration of what you're already handling. And anything that is on top of that, like, good fucking job. I am proud of you. I am proud of you. You can be proud of you. You can be like, what if for now this is just enough? Like, can I give myself a week just to do an experiment? Like, what if you gave yourself a week and just allowed it to be enough, to not always be scrambling to do more, handle more, fix more, read more. But what if you could just play for a week of having that, like, this is enough for now, knowing that there's definitely a beauty in aligned timing, like cleaning out that cupboard yesterday. Mentally, I've wanted to do that for so long, but I didn't schedule it in. I don't do scheduling for that type of project and task in my home. I don't. Or cleaning out my closet or any of that. I do wait for inspired action, aligned timing. And I do find that when I release the pressure and stress a little bit, I do end up getting things done. Like the closet clean out. I was on a walk. I got the nudge from my inner voice. It was like, we need to do a clean out. We need to do a clear out to make space, probably for this freaking emotions audio program to be birthed. And then I did it. I had time. I had the space. Like it aligned. And so what happens if by putting less pressure on the backlog of what has to get done, what if you make a little space, give yourself credit for what you are handling, acknowledge and celebrate that, choose for a week or 2 weeks or even a day, like this is enough for now, and then see what you're naturally inspired to do. What is the next best step? What is the nudge? And it might take a while to get that. But if you lean back and trust that it's coming and that in the meantime, it's enough, you might be surprised by what unfolds. And it might not feel good to the mind, I'll tell you that. But think about all the years of never feeling like it's enough, always feeling like you're behind, you always need to do more, do better. And what would it feel like to give yourself a break from that pressure without the expectation of when or how the inspired action comes? Because that's the beauty of it. It's unexpected and it's aligning in your favor. So that is my musings for you this week. And I will catch you next week on the Tuning In podcast. Thank you for joining me in another episode of the Tuning In podcast. If you loved this episode, please rate and review it or share it with a friend. If you want to go deeper into the realm of emotions and learn the language of your body, check out my audio course, Emotions Decoded, at alignful.com/audio. As always, you can follow along with my journey on Instagram at Dana_Evans. See you next week.